Hey, what's happening, team? What's happening? What's happening? Hope everybody's good. Okay, cool. So I needed to come up with a way to record this training material. Let me just close my door here, mommy. Okay. All right, let's get locked in. So I had to come up with a way to actually share this training material. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to my screen and share everything. Let's just take a quick look here. Okay. That doesn't come out as good as I thought. I guess I need to select the exact things that I want to share. Okay, cool. So let's start here. Okay, so like I said, the purpose of this training is basically to help upskill the DM team, specifically inside of Elite Team AI. And the idea is to help you to understand, firstly, where the organization is, who's who in the zoo, who our ideal customers are, and also how do we serve these people. Yeah, what I'll also do then is that I'll branch off into showing you the different types of outreach methodologies that we use and the scripts that are in play right now to help the team to be able to actually produce a lot more than what we're currently doing. Okay, cool. So let's just start with an introduction of the organization itself. Okay, so we've got here, meet the team. Okay, so these are the key players inside of the organization. So we've got our founder. His name is Hudson Wyckoff. You guys would know this. And then there's myself here, Norton, a senior AI strategy advisor. I work very closely with businesses to understand exactly what it is that they're doing for AI solutions and where they're having challenges. James is our chief revenue officer. He's responsible for bringing in new business from a high level. I also do the same thing, but he does it from a very high level. So we come up with strategy together, and then we also implement the strategy to make sure that we can get to revenue targets. And then we have our technical team. This is Clay Wyckoff. He's chief technology officer. So he basically handles the platform architecture and AI infrastructure. So Clay leads the team, the technical team that I'm going to introduce you right now. He's one of our longest standing engineers that we have in the business, and pretty much has built out about 90% of the infrastructure that you see and has coordinated the other 10%. And then we have Eddie Adnan. We call him Eddie. Eddie is our director of marketing and product experience. Basically, everything that you see about Elite Team AI, from all the stuff that's happening with the branding, the colors, the content that you see on social media. Eddie produces all of that along with his team. And then we have Matt Johnson. Matt is a senior AI engineer. Matt is a brilliant man. He also works very closely with Eddie, him along with Kelvin, senior AI systems engineer as well. And they do pretty much the same thing. And so these guys are responsible for building out these technical systems with the intricacies inside of the business. And of course, we've got the lady that runs everything for us. So Christina is the director of client delivery. And what she basically does is make sure that we see projects all the way through to the end. Number one. Number two, we are held accountable to project deliveries and timelines. And she also handles client liaison. So she'll liaise with clients once projects kickstart, just to make sure that everybody stays abreast. Okay, so Elite Team AI as a company has a mission and statement. I think this is, we all know every company has that, right? So our mission is very simple. That is, we're helping businesses to transform by integrating cutting edge AI solutions that save them time, reduce costs, and improve scalability. That's the most fundamental definition of what we do here. And we have a particular approach that we do this with, and you're going to see as I break down the approaches, and you guys get to see how it works from a front end perspective, a customer interfacing perspective, and how that looks, right? So our approach obviously is tailored for solutions. So we work with tailored solutions. It's never one size fits all. We get into different types of businesses, and we make sure that we understand what's uniquely, what's the biggest challenge unique to that business. at that time. And then we work at creating solutions for that. So it's tailored solutions that fit your unique business challenges, backed by expert guidance and proven technologies, of course. And our promise is very simple. As Elite Team AI, we're here to help you to adapt, grow, and to thrive in a world where efficiency and innovation are paramount. This is where a great deal of our clients, we know they're struggling with this stuff, right? So it's like we know that AI is something that's happening, and the question is, how do we fit into all of this, right? Is it only for big companies like your Fortune 500 companies, listed companies, or is it for us, moms and pops, with the everyday business, the small business, the one that's generating around 1.5 million to about less than 5 million. Let's put it at that. Businesses that are generating less than 5 million in revenue a year, right? Can we leverage AI? Can we bring it into our space? And if we do, where do we actually begin? What's really the thing for us? So that's the biggest challenge. So how do we do this? So in order for us to be able to establish if a business can really apply AI and how they should be applying AI, is that we look at several things. So firstly, we go into an analysis phase, which is it's our three-step formula where we analyze, automate, and scale a business. So we go in, we do an audit. So this looks like this. It's a 30-minute strategy call. It can be a 30 minutes to an hour with the business owner. And we establish what are the challenges at that point, and we establish what the ROI projected is, right? What is it that they're looking to achieve financially, and what is it that they're looking to achieve in terms of just like time efficiency and business efficiency as well. And then once we've established that, then it takes us to the second phase. Then we come together as a team, and the analysis phase can be about 3-4 calls as well. It's not necessarily always just a single call away. Some businesses, depending on the scale of the business, it can be just a single call, but more often than not, it's actually multiple calls that we have to go in and really understand what's happening in the business. And then before we come up with any new solutions or a game plan or roadmap for them, then the roadmap is to help us to automate. So, we'll bring it back to the business owner, wants to approve it, then we go into the implementation phase, which is to automate. So, that's when we deploy the AI. It's not necessarily within the first 48 hours. We tend to work with a time period of 30, 60 to 90-day periods. This allows for the next phase, which is to scale. And this is when, once we implement something, we have to go back and keep iterating, seeing what works best, removing what doesn't work, keeping what works, and then just keep fine-tuning the machine until it produces the kind of results that are in line with the client's objective. Okay, and then which clients do we really work with, right? This tends to be a little bit confusing, and especially internally for some of our stakeholders internally, like some of our sales teams. And what we figured out is if we actually break it down into 3 buckets, then people can actually understand it a lot better. So what are these buckets? So HVAC represents home services, right? Home services would be businesses that include exterior, interior washers. It would include roofers. It would include kitchen remodel companies. Those sort of businesses that particularly are oriented around just like home services, then those fall into that category. That's one ICP that we work with. The next ICP is real estate teams. Now we work with real estate teams that could range between 25 to about 300 sales teams in there, or rather a team of salespeople in there, helping them really just to create other custom-made systems. Or to work with systems that they already have to fine-tune those systems. So that's a second ICP. And then the third one then is working with business coaches or consultants. Now, these people want to protect their IP primarily. Essentially, what you're looking at is they want to create an ecosystem where they can put in all of their IP in there, build a community in there, and then be able to disseminate communication from inside and have 100% ownership of the system. Now, one of the biggest challenges with building, say, for example, on a Facebook or an Instagram, is once you build a community there, Mark Zuckerberg can just decide tomorrow that I'm changing the algorithm, right? And once he decides that, you can lose half your list. So this way you have full control and autonomy away from just the powers that be. So these are the 3 types of buckets of businesses that we deal with, and where our outreach focus is actually going to be, even our messaging from a marketing standpoint of view. So we can take a look at just like some of the solutions, just a quick overview of the solutions that we provide. So what is it that we do as Elite Team AI? So We build out AI chatbots or chat agents, AI voice. So it could either be inbound, outbound, doing multiple purposes, serving multiple purposes in businesses. Some businesses that we reached out to us have said we're experiencing calls that are coming in after hours or holiday or over the weekend when nobody's there, and these go unattended. So we naturally will plug in a setter or a receptionist, AI voice agent that is able to filter the lead, qualify the lead, and then invariably just book the lead for the business right then and then. So you go home today, wake up the next morning, and you've got bookings on your calendar. No stress, and everybody's been attended, and the client knows exactly what to expect when they hop on a call. And of course, we've got end-to-end automation systems. This could be slightly a little bit more intricate. Businesses that are saying we're looking to build HR systems or efficiency around our HR systems, or we want to build out, follow-up sequences with nurture sequences that plug into some of our most intricate kind of parts of the business as well, so that we make it a lot more tailored for the business. We're able to build out end-to-end automation systems that can really do anything from smart lead qualification, follow-up sequences, pipeline management, automated appointment booking. All of that is built in there. And then, of course, the third thing that is our AI strategy and consulting. So basically, we'll sit down with the business, come up with a tailor-made strategy, process optimization, and then we also help to train your team with ongoing support from our internal team as well. So this covers the gambit of the services that we actually provide for our clients. Okay, I hope you guys are still tracking with me. I hope you're still tracking with me. Okay, so what I want to do now is that we're going to move into what exactly is the DM team's game plan on this, right? The playground on this is we need to expand our playground. We're currently existing in one playground, which is LinkedIn. Well, we exist in all three, but LinkedIn is one where the DM team really is focused on right now. And this is it's presented us with a few challenges. Number one, emails, credits on that, get exhausted before the month gets finished. So it's like the month lasts longer than the emails do. So that limits our ability to actually do outreach. That's been one of the challenges there. We can't do top ups as well, just once those credits are finished. So that presents us with a challenge, right? It's not a pay-as-you-go service. We have to wait for the month to end. And it impacts how many outreach messages we can send out on a daily basis. And we know that volume equals conversions, right? And what we're looking to do is we're looking to have the DM team play on all three playgrounds. So that is Instagram included and Facebook as well. And how's this going to do? I mean, obviously, the goal here is to start more conversations, and the end goal really is to book more appointments, right? This is the strategy, and this is really the. So I want to take you through a document that's not included in this presentation yet, but what I'll show you is I'm just going to open it up quickly. Where is this document? Okay, cool. There we go. So on the sales cycle homework that I sent the team, got some really interesting feedback, which I know is super important for any business to be able to move forward. We need to understand exactly what essentially our biggest challenges are, right? And some of the challenges that were highlighted there is obviously, like I just mentioned now, being limited by having to operate in one platform and then having the limits in terms of credit. That's a big problem for us. Let's just close all these tabs here. Say, and then we'll just have one document open here. I tend to have tons of documents open on my screen, and that becomes a bit of a problem. Just one second for me. Okay, so let's do this. I need you to share a Word document. Okay, share the screen. Can I see my Word document? Let's see that. Okay. I can see my Word document if I share the entire screen. All right. So this is the lead team social media management handbook, and I wrote this up because I wanted to solve the problem of how do we have these conversations and what conversations are really important to have and how should these conversations be had. Excuse me. Okay, so let's take a look at at this playbook. The playbook actually addresses two things. It's how should we approaching these conversations. So there's the outbound method and there's the inbound method. And the outbound method, what I've done is I've also tabled here. I'm not going to go through this thing in depth, but what I've tabled here is ideal customer persona. So this is who we're working with and some of the challenges. So the pain points that they have: administrative overload, inefficient workflows, high operational costs, and the need for scalable solutions, right? And some of the ways that we align with these problems to actually solution them. And then obviously the goal here is to boost team efficiency, save time, cut costs, and achieve significant business growth, right? And innovation in the company. And of course, the mindset here is that the person that we're speaking to, it needs to be business owners that are already open and they know they're problem aware, right? There's two types of problem aware. There's people that are aware that they should be doing something, and people that know that they need to do something right now. Those are the people that we want. And the only way to to actually find these people is to cast out a net. And at DM conversations, I get for that specific thing. They get to cast out a net, attract more people, have people actually come out to us, and or at least engage us in conversation. And once they've done that, then we can actually just kind of like book them down the line. So how do these conversations usually happen, right? So we've got DM conversations. So DM conversations. So one of the ways that we can get like these DM conversations going is when once we post out messaging content every day on Facebook and Instagram. Once people respond to that, it's our opportunity to actually reach out to the people that have responded, right? And one of the ways that we can actually do this is like, hey man, I saw that you just responded. It just became friends on IG. Nice to meet you, right? That's one very nonchalant, very friendly way, right? No spontaneous and nice to meet you too. All right, that's the intro, right? Friendly, low key, no pressure, just friendly banter. Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, look, I'm actually online now working on a few content pieces for my page to help business owners to become mentor blocks. Mind if I ask you a few questions to get an idea of what you find useful, right? So this is somebody who's already liking your content, somebody's already paying attention to what you're doing. So the thinking is that you're just asking for their input, right? And people love to ask for input because then they get to add value to whatever it is that you're doing, and it makes them feel significant and seen and recognized. And yeah, then this would be a response. Yeah, sure. But the frame control, yeah, is impeccable. But I'm just providing you with the frame outlines that you can actually kind of like play around with. And then when somebody responds, like, oh man, I got you. I mean, can you elaborate, right? So you can start asking questions there because they'll respond to something. You can start asking questions, digging into whatever it is that they provided. And what you're trying to establish is there a problem that they actually currently have that we as a business are able to fix? One of the ways that you can actually ask these questions again is you can ask somebody, hey man, thank you for the follow, appreciate it, right? And then there's one, yeah, no problems. Say, I saw you actually like this piece of content. I mean, what is it about this particular piece of content stood out for you, right? And then they're going to respond to it, and you can start kind of following the banter. It's like, oh, great, man. So are you also a business owner, or are you just somebody that's just interested in AI, right? And then they tell, oh, I'm a business owner. Oh, what kind of business, right? And we keep the conversation going there because what it does is it just opens up a very natural conversation to be had that's not very salesy. It's just you're curious. And I think with this script, the biggest thing is curiosity being right at the top of everything else, rather than losing them to them feeling like you're being salesy and already you're coming out with like a long form message. It's like, hey man, we've got like 10, but and then you start hitting them with stats and numbers that make people's brain go scramble. But if you start conversations like a friend would, right, then it's a whole lot different ball game altogether than if you actually do the salesy approach. I mean, obviously you can just follow the script here and see where the booking is. How to do the bookings. Yeah, so that covers pretty much like the outbound element of this whole thing when you doing outbound outreach. And this could be done as well to accounts of people that that you actually just like you click and follow, and maybe you do invites. Um, the same kind of flow can apply there. Obviously, the wording can be changed around a little bit more. The most important thing here is, and I know that the DM team knows this, it's never to talk about our services, while you're actually in the DMs with somebody. It's creating intrigue, building up enough of an intrigue to find out if they have a good enough problem for them to show up on the call. And then everything else then will be discussed from there. So these conversations shouldn't be troublesome at all if we keep that in mind, that it's always just about like building up intrigue and then making sure that we establish somewhat of a gap and we invite them over to a call. And rule number one really what this is, it's never sending them a booking link, but rather asking them, "Oh, I've got availability tomorrow, like 4 p.m. Will 4 p.m. work for you, or would you prefer something early in the morning?" Right? And then they provide you with the details, and you're like, "Oh, okay, cool, man." And then if you see the email or you've got the email, you can be like, "Oh, is this the email that you want me to send you the confirmation to?" And then what number can we reach you on? Right? You take full control of that, because once you send them the link, we've seen this 1,000 times. People take 3, 4, 5 days. Sometimes they'll never get back to you. Why? Because people get busy, right? But if you can help them while they're still in that moment, while they're still in that trance moment with you, and there's a good connection happening there, you can collect all these details right there, right then and there. Okay, so low pressure. So key principles of the inbound DM success, or rather DM success, is keep it low. Let's start with low pressure, right? Keep it friendly, acknowledge connections. Compliment them a little bit. It's like, hey, loving what you're doing with your business out in California. Just curious, and then you ask whatever question that you want, and then position yourself as a helper, right? Frame yourself as someone who creates and brings value content, someone who's selling, not someone who's selling a product. Of course, ask for permission. You know, do you mind if I ask you, AYC? You know, yeah, so that kind of thing. And then I dig deeper, and then you can start kind of, as soon as they open up, then you can start kind of uncovering the urgency or the pain if it's there. I think there's a good conversation that I have on Instagram that actually goes into this. A very, very good conversation. All right, and then transition naturally, and then yeah, transitioning naturally could be, oh man, we actually we're building out something similar to this. If it makes sense, for us to actually open a call, I'll be more than happy to actually show you what it is that we're building now. Uh, what's your availability tomorrow? That's how we do this natural transaction. All right, we don't try to solve anything. We just like it's like a natural progressive conversation. I actually try to attach this conversation, the Instagram conversation I'm talking about here, because that led to a booking, and it was one of the most incredible conversations I think I had with somebody that was really open. Right, and then we've got, okay, cool. So the outbound script. So that was the inbound script. That's when people are showing interest. Inbound. Outbound is when we're reaching out to them. So that's when we send invites. That's when we actually just like send a text message. So with all these platforms, it's very important to understand that, for example, with Facebook, if somebody's not a friend, then the messages typically wind up in a spam folder. They don't see them, rather than if they're actually friends. So what you want to do is you actually want to drop up invites for friend connections first, and then once people accept, and you start kind of doing the other outreach with them. And then with Instagram, it can be just straight out the ball. But even with Instagram, I've seen that Instagram does the same thing. Once you start doing the whole thing that people do, where they sound almost automated, then Instagram doesn't. It throws your message all the way out to the spam folder. One thing that I think is also very key, and you'll see it in the message that I'm going to share just now. In fact, let me just see this. Let's go to Instagram. Let's go to Instagram. Let's go to Instagram. Let's just take a look at this quick conversation here. Okay. Oh, snap. Okay, so I'll find the conversation because I'm logged in inside of Hudson's Instagram, and obviously he just sent him like a code, and he's not up as yet. What I'll do is as soon as I'm back, I'll actually just put it in the document as well, so it's easy to reference for the purpose of this training. Okay, so let's look at the outbound script. So the outbound script is pretty basic. It's almost the same thing, right? This is where you just like send out a message like, hey man, totally random question. Actually building out a two-way AI text Android that turns old leads into booked appointment. You open to having a conversation around this, right? Or you open to chat, right? So these are just examples. So you can actually add these examples. I think what's the other one that I like? What's the other one that I like? I don't like this one, bottlenecks. What are your bottlenecks? I hate this one actually. Yeah, so here's the key thing with outbound. But the key thing with outbound is you always start off with totally loving what you guys are doing out there in Texas. So this is what you do different from everybody else. James. So we're talking to James, right? Everybody starts, hey James. If you go to your messages now, all you're gonna see is like, hey James, hey Norton, hey. Everybody out that does outreach, cold outreach is like, hey name. So what we do is the first line, we throw in a compliment, right? Or we throw in an observation, and then we put the name right at the end of that first line. That's literally like the thing, right? Just out of curiosity. We've rolled out an Android two-way text that turns old leads to booked appointments. Open chat, right? This is what we do all the time, right? We don't do the, hey, everybody's doing that. So what we want to do is we want to go counterculture. So we want to do the exact opposite of what everybody's doing. That's really the key thing for us here. Yeah. So obviously once they start replying, right, you start engaging, but like in a very conversational way, right? Right. I appreciate you. So the key thing with outbound or any kind of messaging is like always acknowledge the last thing that they said. It's like, oh man, actually, I recognize what you just said now, right? Or you know, oh yeah, I run a roofing company. Like, oh man, roofing company, pretty cool, man. Just curious, you know. So what seems to be the biggest bottlenecks right now when it comes to getting more leads, right? Or because when we're reviving old leads, let's say we're doing an outreach for reviving old leads, like we can focus on that. Like, what seems to be the biggest challenge right now with reactivating the leads that you already have in your CRM right now, right? Because they just told you that they've got leads that are sitting in the CRM. But you can just follow the script, yeah, and then you can take it, just provide you with the proper guidance and that in the flow of the ads, around the flow of the conversation. Of course, it differs from when you're running ads, pre-qualifying and all that stuff. So just go through all of these these scripts. What I've also done here is that I've included so this is the content calendar for when we're running the community inside of Facebook. Community right now has just been a little bit challenging because I haven't had the time to be able to manage the community myself. We need actually somebody to just like do this thing full on. Somebody who's just going to be producing content for this. It cannot be like a part-time thing. it's quite tricky. But what I've done is that I've included resources here, right? So click on any one of these resources. There's training here. There's an in-depth training on just the DM script. And then there's also a little bit of insights for the company as well. And then I've also included a demo page, just one of our lead magnets that we currently have. And we're offering it for free. And then obviously the Figma will just kind of take you through how the new website is going to look, and what are some of the things that we've done. Yeah. So, I mean, if you guys have any questions, if you have any questions for me, just feel free to actually reach out. I'm going to send this out to you, and then just check it out. Hopefully, I kept this brief and it wasn't too long. And yeah, it was just easy to follow. Outside of that, though, it's been a absolute great pleasure to be able to actually do thing. I know it's been a long time coming, but yeah, appreciate you. Right, bye.